afternoon. It's your blogger, ExoticvampyJ. You're watching on my daily blog, and guess where I am today? I'm in the town of Guildford. Now, time check, it's 12:30 in the afternoon, and it's the 14th of May 14th. And I haven't vlogged this part of Guildford yet. So this is a very old building if you look at it. So we'll go across down there. And I'm standing in front of the statue of George Abbot, he's the Archbishop of Canterbury. And that's his living statue. It's right on. And he was the Archbishop of Canterbury, which is the person who knighted the king. His name is George Abbot. He can be found. Google it in the history of England, and George Abbot will come up. He was born in 1562 to 1633 or 53, I'm not sure. I think 1633. So he is a very famous historical person within the heart of Guildford, because as I said, he used to be the Archbishop of Canterbury, and this is what he looks like. That's his living statue. You see, he's the Archbishop. I have to go farther so you can actually see in my blog. So moving along, I've told you about the history of George Abbot, and this part of Guildford is actually one of the oldest towns on the high street, and that Three Pigeons is also a very old building. Now apparently, I'm just going to show you that building called Three Pigeons. They said that is a scary place. Apparently there's a ghost inside there that keeps on ringing and ringing. But it's a very popular bar, you know, because it's a pub. But they said that there's a ghost in that. It's a very well-known haunted in Guildford, that pub called Three Pigeons. So moving along, we're still looking around in the heart of Guildford town, which is, I am on the high street, North Street now.
Yeah, I do miss Marianne.
Now this is the famous Holy Trinity Church. It's a Church of England, it's not a Catholic church. And apparently they said that this church, this is where the remains of George Abbot was buried. So welcome to Holy Trinity Church. It's a Church of England. And as I am facing the camera, see that big tower? That is called the George Abbot Hospital. It's a hospital, and to this day it still is existing. See, we get across around. The last time I vlogged this, it was like a long time ago, a few years ago, and right now I am vlogging it again. So that is the George Abbot Hospital, which was built. Let's look around there and see what's the history behind this very popular, famous landmark, the George Abbot Hospital. So I'm getting inside of it. Ooh, you can can you see? It's George Abbot Hospital. So you can go on a guided tour. So we're gonna look around. Typical English. Here you go. Let's read about it. It's Abbot Hospital. No, George Abbot born in Guildford, became Archbishop of Canterbury and founded this almshouse in 1619. So, where I am standing right now, where my shoes, my feet is on the ground, this building was built on 1619. So it was built on 16th century. That's over 100 years. So that's about 600 years. For around 400 years, it has given homes to local residents aged over 60 and modest of means. So, which means this hospital became a care home for local residents which are the ages of over 60. So there are people who's living in this building. When the doors open, do look from the archway at the fine building still serving the purpose of which it was built so long time ago. So that was the history of it. So let's take a look inside, because I haven't been here inside, so don't know what to expect. It's the Hospital of the Blessed Trinity, which is founded by George Abbot. As we said, he was the Archbishop of Canterbury 1619, and Archbishop are the one who is the head of, not the head of Church of England, but just because the Queen is the head of the Church of England, but it's the head of being the priesthood or something. It says private residence always. So so this is now, we're gonna look around, look at the ground. So this is now, this hospital, the Abbot Hospital, has become a care home, and it's so pretty. And there are some local residents who are staying in this building. It's such a beautiful place. And look at that, how amazing. And this was built, imagine I'm standing on the ground. A piece of history is just like looking at a book. It's from 1619, so which is like 467 days. It's about 600 years old. And it has now become a house for local residents that are over 60 years old, so it become their home. So I'm assuming, because there's lots of rooms in there, so there's lots of people staying around. But the ground, hello. So the ground actually is very pretty, very clean. So this vlog is like, while watching this, you've learned the history of it, the George Abbot Hospital. You can Google it by all means, and you'll find out the history of it. And I'm actually vlogging it, so it's a traveling. At the same time, it's a piece of history that you guys are actually watching right now. So let's see what else can we do. So they've got, you can give donation, see, for the hospital, Blessed Trinity. So there is a donation. If you're generous enough, you can give something to the master. And look at that. Look at the writings of the old alphabets those times, you see. I mean, don't you get fascinated with what I'm talking right now? Because I am, definitely I am. You learn, you don't see this every day on any videos or blog. Only on my channel right now, because I'm traveling and I want to show you something different from the blog that I have been doing. Sorry. Hello. So let's see. Now this is George Abbot himself. So there's a photo of George Abbot. That's what he looks like. He was the, as we said, he was the Archbishop of Canterbury, 1619. So he is the one who adorned and knighted the king. Who was George Abbot? George Abbot was born in a cottage at the bottom of the High Street on 29 October 1562. He was educated at what is now the Royal Grammar School, RGS, then Balliol College, Oxford, where after graduating he was elected a fellow. A considerable scholar, he eventually became Oxford Vice Chancellor and helped produce the great authorized version of the Bible, published in 1611. In the same year, he became Archbishop of Canterbury. So, 1611, he became the Archbishop of Canterbury, which is the highest priesthood of all in the United Kingdom, which on those days made him very, very rich. So let's read more. Wondering what to do with his wealth, he found his affection leading me to the town of Guildford, where I was born and where my aged parents lived many years with good rapport. And in 1614, he declared his plan to build an almshouse, which is where I am standing right now. Did you hear my foot in the ground? In 1618, he put land between the High Street and what is now North Street, and on the 6th April 1619, he laid the first stone of his new hospital. So where we are, this where I'm standing, this is built on 1619 when George Abbot made his first hospital. But then again, he donated it and it's called the almshouse. So aren't you fascinated with, that's what he looks like, George Abbot. Aren't you fascinated about this blog I have right now where I'm standing? I want to show something significant on my channel that you guys will remember it. So you're actually not only watching a video, but you're learning a history of England from the 16th century, and that's catering George Abbot himself. So let's just carry on looking. So we've been inside of the almshouse, used to be, and look at that. That's the writings of the 16th century. So opposite is the Holy Trinity Church, and apparently that's where George Abbot's body was buried. So let's have a look around again on this very beautiful hospital. So 1619 it was built. I mean, isn't it amazing? A very good piece of history. Oh, I love doing this. It's just something that I like to tell. Storytelling, telling people the history about it, and showing it down in my blog. And it's just amazing, amazing, amazing. It's very busy, and this George Abbot Hospital is by the Guildford High Street. So going those down below, it's actually a shopping mall, but you have to go in by one on the shopping mall itself. So I'm gonna sit down a little bit, and you're sitting with me while I'm talking, and you're watching at the same time in this very beautiful hospital. And now it becomes local residents for over 60 years old. Beautiful, isn't it? And we also mentioned about the Three Pinions, which is the side of the George Abbot, and that's also one of the oldest buildings here, and it's been known as a haunted pub, and apparently they said that there's ghosts around and they can feel that there's something there. How true? I really don't know. We'll see. Enjoying this beautiful afternoon here in the heart of Guildford town, where I'm having a coffee while watching, blogging, and talking about the Guildford, and talking about George Abbot and who he is, and this building, which is the George Abbot Hospital. you can Google it by all means, because this is a very, very important history of Guildford. It's searchable, and I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy, because you're actually watching a live vlog on my channel. It's not just like reading the book, but you're actually watching the video itself. Well, anyway, thank you so much for staying with me. This is ExoticvampyJ, and I'll say a blessed Saturday to each and every one of you, and thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so I can grow within YouTube world. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Ciao.